Welcome to Everyday Woman here on KTN Home. We are so glad you are tuned in again this week. My name is Eustace Segetan. Well, to build a world that is inclusive and diverse, women have been on the forefront to indulge themselves in matters tech. Stella Waithera is one of them. She is the founder of African Girl Tech, and she aspires to inspire young women and girls to explore the world of tech by teaching them her programming and digital skills that she has learned over the years. It is now time to get techy with Stella. Kindly introduce yourself and the name of your organization and how it feels being in that tech world.
My name is Stella Waithera. My organization is known as African Tech Girl Organization. So it's an NGO where we train individuals aged between 7 to 17 years in STEM skills specifically. Being a woman in this world, I believe even for male, it's tough. But, you know, we are getting there and we're taking it one day at a time.
Okay, yeah. Amazing. Did you grow up in a tech family or this is one of, those moments that I'm the only tech person around here?
I wouldn't say I was raised in a tech family, but I wouldn't discount that because we didn't have the resources to know if we are tech people. But I remember when I was young, it's when cyber cafes were coming up. My mom would send me something and I would shortchange and use 10 shillings to go and play computer games in the cyber cafe.
Okay.
So I remember I used to actually go with my male friends. I was the only girl playing, and I remember a particular woman coming in with their daughter and being like, unaona pia mwanamke, unaona pia msichana anacheza game hapa. So I think that's, I don't say I realized I liked tech, but I started just doing things technology. So when even phones were coming up and I was in that household, I would just explore the phone and play around with it. Not tear it apart because we didn't have money to replace. But I would just explore, and I just had a keen interest in that, and so I think that's my introduction.
Interesting. That comes to me as though you were one of these children that were very curious, and I'm curious to know where you grew up and what kind of family setup did you grow up in?
I grew up in Kayole. And partly Komarok, but mostly Kayole. And I was brought up by a single parent, raised with 3 other siblings. I'm the third born, I'm a middle child. So in a family where my mom was business oriented in the Juakali.
All right. Did you pick any of business skills, business tips growing up? Any actually that you've carried with you to date?
Definitely. And not just my mom, my grandmother also from my dad's side was in business. So my mom would leave me with her in Juakalis ever since I was young. So I was really exposed to the business world from as early as 6 years old, Right. So I was always in Juakali. She was among the first people to start selling drums, metallic drums, water drums.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know them.
Yeah, I do. Nowadays they convert them to seats and what
Yes,
have you.
yes.
Yep.
So she was among the first people who pioneered that in the Juakali sector. Well-respected lady.
Wow.
I miss her to death. And yeah, so I grew up seeing business, seeing women run things and do things. My aunt was among, and even my grandma was among the pioneers of the matatu industry in Buruburu.
Okay.
So even before the Sonko generation, my family was running the matatu industry in Buruburu. So I have seen business, I've seen that aggressiveness of being in business, especially just to pursue it and get to the next level. So even my mom has just raised me in the Juakali up to date. Even when I was still in my campus years, I was still going to the Juakali sector just to help her. Actually, up to date, even I still help her make some decisions in her business.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. I would say that you're pretty exposed to various worlds when you're young. Yeah. Then how did that influence your schooling and how you'd relate to other children and your siblings?
I have always been forward thinking because of that. I consider myself an old soul when it comes to that, because I have been exposed to adult life before even I was an adult here. So when I was in school, I actually, I was called to Egerton to pursue computer science, but I wasn't able to do it. I was hard-headed and I came to Nairobi, and I was working, and I went back to my mom's place in Juakali. And when I decided to go back to school, part of the agreement was I was to raise my own fees. So in school, I remember in that particular campus, JKUAT campus I was in, there was no canteen. So I would go buy some mandazis being sold in the estate. They were well presented, they were really delicious, and I would go and sell them to school up to even Sundays. I would sell to PhD students and master students. So in between classes, I'm just receiving texts, bring me mandazi, bring me mandazi. And that would be my pocket money, my utility, and part of it, my fees.
All right. So then how did you perform in school, since you're also doing business?
Not that well.
Not that well.
Not to my capacity.
Okay.
Yeah, but also capacity is relative. Yeah. So I was always, even up to date, I'm always looking at problems and finding solutions. So education for me, it became a key that could unlock a door. So I didn't take it like this is the only thing I can do. Yeah, I was always asking myself, what can I do? I was networking up to date. The lecturers, the people I was working with are still my networks, and that actually multiplied the worth that degree gave me.
Wonderful. Now, from school, you graduate with a degree, you're into the real world. Tell me your first experience, owing to the fact that you're already exposed to working, business, and employment. Then, after school, how was it like transitioning into now the real hustling for a job or employment, for that matter?
In all humility, I was working already. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, definitely. You were selling mandazis, and plus you graduated, you got a formal kind of employment, you mean?
Yeah, because when I was still in campus, there was now the COVID break. Yeah, COVID hit. At that time, that's when I joined Moringa School. 2 months down the line, I created African Tech Girl when I was still doing the 6-month program in Moringa. So by the time I was finishing actually Moringa and we were resuming back to school, I had already started working. I had already gotten my first job, formal employment now, as a trainer, because I think what African Tech Girl did, it created opportunities for me to train now digital skills. So I was already employed as a trainer in an organization called Aquit. I did it for 3 months, but wasn't able to move on because I was going back to school. And then I started focusing on online jobs, and I got my first another training job for kids in Kaplora Academy, and then now I went into a software engineering job in Dubai, which I did remotely. So by the time I was finishing, I was already a software. I had already 1 year experience in software development and 1 year experience in training.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So at what point then did you leave employment to now fully focus on your business, rather your organization that you came up with when you're in school?
I haven't yet stopped being employed because that's what is financing and funding my business. This is a costly thing that I'm doing in terms of trying to buy computers. We need a van to go to schools. We need generators for schools that don't have electricity. We need computers, like I said, and laptops. We need Wi-Fi bundles. We need routers. It's a whole thing, yeah? So that needs money. So I still work. I'm a trainer, still a digital skill trainer at Moringa School, where currently I transitioned from training software development to now training data science. And I am also a software developer at Kayana Creates as a consultant.
Okay. I mean, what are some of the top skills then that one requires to be in this field?
Great. I think it really takes a lot because it's you and a computer. You know, I'm not talking to you. It's not like you're talking to it's just you and the computer.
Yeah.
So it's you wanting the computer to give you something, and when it's not giving it to you, wondering why that is not happening. So I actually keep telling my students, you're solving one error after the other, you're solving one challenge after the other. So there's a lot of great patience with yourself, the grace to learn. Tech is evolving so much.
Yep.
There are technologies that are coming up right, left, and center. So just the grace to learn those things and practice. And also to get your job, which really demands a lot to get your first job somehow. You really need to prove yourself even when you're just getting in. So, and actually there's usually a joke in the tech field that the interviews are like a dinosaur and then the work is like a mouse, because just getting in is so hard.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of just keep pushing and and prayers.
And prayers,
Yeah.
absolutely. So we are now taking a short break. We will be right back to find out what it takes to be a woman in technology. Hello, welcome back from the break. This is Everyday Woman and we are glad you are still tuned in to KTN Home. We are engaging Stella Waithera. She is a techie and she is very inspirational because she started this since way back. Now, Stella, kindly let us know how it feels being in this space that is kind of male dominated. Do you have to work twice as hard to find your space and to maneuver?
As a woman in this space, you can't hide behind how you look. People actually see how you look. It's about the project you're bringing out. So I think now here there is equality. Here there is that balance, you know. All of you are on the same level. It's only that maybe sometimes there are people, especially when people are looking for mentors, and as women, there's a lot of people who of course try to take advantage, but that just because there's a bad side of it, there is also an amazing side of it. There are 100 and millions of people ready to help and guide one. Yeah.
Okay. With that in mind, I see you have some people that you look up to, the likes of Idris. Tell me more about the mentors that you have and the people that you look up to.
Okay. First, I look up to several people in the industry. There's an amazing lady called Nancy Mureithi.
Yeah.
She is really great in cybersecurity, and the reason why I say that is because we kind of started at the same level. I remember us meeting each other, her trying to discover the path she'll take, and me actually starting African Tech Girl and trying to figure out what I'll do. The other, I really want to shout out to Dr. Bryce Gamili. He's among the first people who posted African Tech Girl and saw us enroll up to 50 kids from all over Africa. And he didn't even know me. So, and then after that, I've just been following up and seeing how he does his craft so well and does also many things. And he's so disciplined about his time. And I really admire that.
Yeah.
There are all those people I mentioned in cybersecurity, but so I'd like to move on to another lady known as Philomena Bura. She's a data scientist, so I've also seen her grow in the career. I would also like to talk about the likes of Tracy Mwangi, that is the CEO of Zynamis. I've just been following her story. Another Tracy, the CEO of Funky Science, and also the CEO of Kayana. She's really great, Patricia Okello, and I admire her demeanor when she's handling all that she's handling. Yeah.
You can give us one of the best professional advice that you've gotten to date.
Don't let your ego overtake what you're trying to do. Just really be humble in whatever you're doing. And I think maybe on the other side, it's, let God be the sense of everything that you're doing. I know as the youth, not only in Kenya, but also globally, we are really facing a lot of challenges. We are a generation that has really faced a lot, including technology, because it's bringing, I usually say technology has a bipolar personality. You will see a post where somebody is sad, below it you'll see somebody going on their first flight, below you'll see somebody on economy class, below it you'll see Rick Ross posting then his new plane. So, yeah, and you're going through your own things.
Yes.
Yeah. Learn also to detach from social media, and at the same time really have God as the anchor of everything. It will work out. You don't need to do all the things which are that don't dignify you, so that to make it, dignity also pays.
You could highlight to us one of the biggest projects that you've handled?
Allow me to just point out the beginning of African Tech Girl, because I believe it was such a phenomenal, groundbreaking thing even for me, because we were able to enroll from our open call, which I didn't have followers, I didn't know anyone. So me releasing that and getting people all the way from Zimbabwe, people from Uganda, people from Ghana, people from Nigeria, people from Kenya as well, kids wanting to learn. And let me tell you, these kids are so committed to the point that some, even when they're visiting their grandparents or they're going somewhere, they go with the laptop. So I'm at my aunt's place, I am commuting, we are on visiting, so they just join for that one also.
Yeah.
So I believe those were my groundbreaking moments, seeing how kids are eager to learn and seeing how much kids are ready to embrace the knowledgeable side of tech.
And with that, highlight some of the challenges that you've gone through as a woman in tech, and how do you overcome them?
I think one of the main things is when you ask for something as a woman, sometimes you seem like you're being too demanding. So also learning how to work with male colleagues in that aspect, to get to a point where you are respected for your craft. And also somehow a woman should not learn. They should always know. Yeah. But also I feel like as women, we are the ones who set that standard. Where we walk into a room wanting to be there, to be already knowing. It's good not to know. It's good because men go apply for jobs with 20% of the CV. As we see a master's and you're like, I only have a bachelor's, and you don't apply. Apply. I mean, if they say no, you knew you wouldn't qualify.
Yeah.
So just apply. You never know the room that would walk in and also just ask. It's okay not to know. It's okay not to know. Another challenge I have faced is funding, raising funding for African Tech Girls. That has not been easy. And also getting past the parents. You know, for me, as I can't directly go to the consumer of what I'm trying to, the service. I have to go through the parents, and then the parents have to go through the child. So educating the parents, and we're talking about people who are busy working. You know, you're talking about people who have a million other things in their mind. So trying to tell them that, hey, you know, we have a program that you can come and your kids can learn this and so forth. So learning the techniques on how to get there. Now we are getting there, but earlier on I thought posting 10 posts a day would transverse to sign up, but that's not the case in the field that I am in.
Okay. Well, with all that you know right now, what would you tell your younger self? And also, what would you tell yourself when you're starting your business?
I would tell my younger self, especially being raised by a single parent, you're all relying on a resource from one person. So there's, at some point, there becomes a contention. Yeah, because if somebody mishandles their time, the resource they have, somehow, sometimes maybe they have to bite into your resource, and you become frustrated. So I think I'll just tell my younger self, everything will work out. And this is to everyone who is being raised by a single parent. First, take it easy on them and take it easy on yourself. Yeah, there is enough for everyone, and it might not be in that particular person only. There is enough out here for everyone. Just go out there as you continue moving forward. The rocks will somehow create a foundation for you. So, and you don't take it personally when there is none, or somebody takes away an opportunity you think it's yours. Yours will definitely come. You can imagine right now there's child pornography or something as easy as TikTok. The kids are doing stuff which is somewhat demonic, online. As young as 7, as young as 9. And I'm trying to divert that child to come here and learn programming, a good thing. You know, and that is hard. It is hard to do good in this technology era, but it is possible. So it is a lot of spiritual battles. Even I myself, when I'm doing, sometimes I go through some things and I know this is not normal, because the devil is really fighting us in this tech space. And somehow, you know, it's very surprising, because what the devil is doing is, to me, marketing.
Not at all.
And so but on our end, we have to keep pushing, we have to keep doing it, so that we don't lose a generation because of technology.
Okay. So with that, what are some of the lessons then you have picked so far?
Small things matter. They add up, especially in tech. Every platform is necessary. Even the TikTok, people are learning from it. Even YouTube, people are learning and becoming great developers out of it. So those small steps, introducing your child, not just letting them watch Cocomelon. There are platforms where the kids can learn even arithmetics. So those things, those small steps matter. Okay,
wonderful. Yeah. And so what gives you the strength to do this that you do every other day and each and every time?
Prayer. I am on my knees. I sit here as a representation of a generation that is behind me and the generation that is ahead of me. So I carry a mandate, not just for me, but for those generations. So I'll just say prayer, praying, knowing God intimately, because everything about African Tech Girl has been from God, even the name. So even the programs that I do, it's just a download from God. Do this and this, and yeah, so I do pray a lot.
Okay, wow, wonderful. That's very inspirational. I mean, in the world of tech, so much goes on, but she says you can do it. It was a pleasure hosting Stella Waithera and learning everything about tech. And from me and the amazing team, Christine, the producer, the carer, and Caris, the cameraman, Clint, the camera person, and Omosh, our logistics manager, we appreciate you and we are glad you are tuned in. Until next week, take care.